Yep. We are indeed streaming now, guys. I don't see it on the Hake Report stuff, but I do see it going. Yes, we're live on Periscope, YouTube. D-Live should be connecting. Come on, come on, come on. Facebook, Twitch. I may have to turn off and then on the D-Live situation here. But what's up, guys? I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report. It is Monday, July 27th already of 2020. And hang tight one moment while I get things squared away. It is 9:03 a.m. here in Los Angeles. And I'm just turning back on the D-Live stream because my faithful viewers on D-Live need to be catching the show, as you know. Appreciate you all for your patience on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, and Twitch should be connecting shortly, if it's not already. And D-Live, man, I've turned it off and turned it on. Just trying. Thank you to Big B's Bear subscribing for 1 month. And number one hair, Robot Moose, resubbed for 1 month over on D-Live. And still not connected. Hang on, guys. Just going to do a quick thing. I have to make sure that it goes, you know. Checking my restream now. Sending data. It's getting close to 9:05 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Yes, we are going. What's up, guys? I appreciate you guys over on D-Live, which should be going. I see it. I see the notification. Press 1 on you D-Livers. Press 1 if you see me. Press 1 if you see me. Press 2 if you don't. Okay, cool. We're going. Very nice. What's up, guys? I have quite a show for you, actually. So I'm not just dilly-dallying and stalling. By the way, Nick, the producer of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, I believe he said that he's going to be putting up the full Jesse Lee Peterson show videos onto BitChute. BitChute.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. As you know, you could put it on YouTube, I guess. Yeah, the whole dang thing. And then it'll auto-upload to BitChute, I suppose. You just don't want to get on BitChute's bad side. Appreciate all the offers to stream on alternative channels, whether mine or yours or other people's. I don't think we want to look like we're sneaking around their clampdown on us, you know what I mean? But it was just a copyright strike, and they're just preventing us from streaming. They're not preventing us from uploading long videos, I don't think. At least not at this point. So, I don't know. We'll see. You definitely could, Nick. So, anyways, guys, appreciate to Jesse Lee Peterson and Dark Side of the Bear What for hosting the show, and thank you, Shaggy Boy, for the square character that I can't see on the thing. Let me see if I can see it elsewhere. No, I just see a square thing. Anyways, let's get on with the show. You guys can call in 888-775-3773. My second favorite caller and others already on hold. Appreciate it. But let's get with it. Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, isn't it such a shame what's going on in the world? People are being so dramatic. It's so unnecessary. Can you imagine? It's like what Jesse Lee Peterson says, where God doesn't try to force you. He'll let you end up on Skid Row. And that is so true. People are out there making a fool of themselves in favor of Black Lives Matter, and they're trying to tempt us to make a fool of themselves going up against them because they're just so insane. You know, the old saying goes, to make a liberal mad. No, to make a conservative mad. Oh, no. Yeah, to make a conservative mad, lie to them. To make a liberal mad, tell them the truth. And Obama lied to us, and we were mad. And then Trump told the truth, and the liberals were mad. Well, that's what's going on in the world. They are pushing the lie of Black Lives Matter. And, you know, those of us who are sane are like, this is insane. And those of the people who are insane or just useful idiots, honestly. A lot of people don't pay much attention. They're already kind of liberal at heart, even if they're so-called Christians. They're teachers sometimes. They just fall for the dumb, trendy, liberal media stuff. Don't question it and share these black squares. Blackout. Black Lives Matter. I'm referring to some friends of mine. I rarely go on Instagram, but I went on Instagram one Tuesday. I know it was a Tuesday, right? Because they put out this Blackout Tuesday. Was it the week? Was it in the week leading up to the 4th of July? I'm not sure, but this Blackout Tuesday thing where everybody posted this black square on their Instagram, acting like, oh, I care about black lives. And I saw friends of mine who are white Christians, some of them Hispanic, but nice teacher types who are from like El Monte, California, and they're sharing this stuff. First of all, I don't even know if they know any black people. They might know a few by now, but like we barely knew like a handful of blacks in our school. And yeah, I remember one time one of my Mexican friends said the N-word, just messing around with the black guy, and the black guy, our classmate in PE, he suddenly got serious and was not amused. And that was like my only introduction to like the black in-person like resentment about, the insane kind of resentment. Like, I don't play like that. Like, it's fine. You don't have to play like that. But they fall for it. And, teachers tend to be liberal. But these were supposed to be Christians. They're nice family people. Women, of course, women tend to be suckers oftentimes, much more so than the men. Although the men, too. But they fall for it. And I have pictures of this guy who had an AK. He was for the Second Amendment, but he was also for this fake cause of racial justice. This white guy, who was fiancés with a black female, she was a quadruple amputee, showing photographs of this couple. This man who's wearing, his face is covered up, I guess because of COVID. Yeah, look at this. These are all COVID masks. Red-haired guy, looks like. White guy. Almost looks like he could be a skinhead, but he's with the black girl. Pretty black girl, but I don't know what the circumstances are, but she's a quadruple amputee, according to the media. And he loved her unconditionally. This is a USA Today headline. Austin protest shooting victim remembered for his devotion to his fiancée and to racial justice. And he was, protecting her because she was into this Black Lives Matter stuff too. And what a shame. He was carrying an AK, according to this story. There she is, this young lady. She has, her legs, arms and legs, forearms and lower legs cut off. And she's posing with a former guest on The Fallen State, a recent guest on The Fallen State, Scott Vujicic, or however you pronounce his name. Christian guy. Nice guy. Motivational speaker guy. He was born with no arms, no legs. Not even as much as she had. I think she was born with arms and legs, but got them cut off at some point. But she was in an interracial relationship with this white guy who was simping for the false black victimhood. And what a shame. He shouldn't have even been out there. Nobody has any business being out at these dumb protests for so-called racial justice, because it's not a racial justice issue. If they were for actual justice, they would be against the, silly attacks upon whites, the false smears against the police. They would be for stopping this nasty, evil brainwashing of blacks to believe that they're victims and to F the police and to hate whites. I'm showing you a photograph from Getty Images. Yes, I stole it from Getty. I dare you to copy strike me. I talk all big right now. Dang, imagine. Ugh, cancel those words in the name of Jesus. But anyways, this young lady is leading a protest being pushed by another white person. And they're talking about rest in power, Garrett Foster. And they say rest in power because they don't believe in peace. And they believe in this fake idea of black power, which does not exist, as Jesse Lee Peterson has so aptly pointed out. But this was, I guess, the next night. I guess this may have been last night. She was leading a protest, and they're raising the communist, anti-American, anti-white black power fist. And some of these people are well-meaning. They don't even know better. And there's even like a young girl who looks like a minor, probably, with her raised fist, wearing all black. But this was the next night. So Saturday night, this guy gets killed. He was carrying an AK-47 type of gun, a rifle. And this car drives up. I don't know what the whole story is, right? So I don't know who was the bad guy, or if both were bad guys, or if it was an innocent rookie mistake or amateur mistake on the part of one or both of these people. Takes two to tango, honestly. I would guess that it's a little bit of both of their faults. Neither of them had any business being out there. Not the driver, not this guy who was carrying the AK with his girlfriend, who was a brainwashed false black victimhood activist, nor the person. There was another person, and so-called activist protester, who fired into the guy's car after he was driving away, after he shot this person like 3 times or maybe more, I don't know. The couple were misguided. By the way, they were featured in 2013 by a former Jesse Lee Peterson radio show guest, Crystalline Karazin, whose website, I forget the name of her website, but she promotes something that she calls swirling. And she hates Jesse Lee Peterson. She's friends, or was friends, with Colin Flaherty. But, and he mentioned her name, and I recognize that name, and she promotes interracial dating. Swirling is black women getting with white women, with white men. Black females getting with white men. Because her thing is, black men are not real men, or something like that. So she hates black men and thinks that promoting interracial marriage is the right way to go. Wrong. And she made all kinds of crazy... She's a hater of Jesse Lee Peterson. She tried to cause all kinds of trouble. She was on the phone, and Andre, the Armenian guy, was the board operator. He was the Joel before Joel was Joel. And he put out the YouTube video of the interview. And she was on the phone, right? So we put out pictures of her. And then she's all, I didn't give you permission to take my photos and put them up. And so she issued like a takedown notice via YouTube. So we had to take that down and re-put it up with, I guess, I don't know if we had any picture of her. Pfft, nasty woman. Filthy. But anyways, this couple, I told you about it. It took place over in, where was this? Austin, Texas, Saturday night. He approached that vehicle. The person inside shot him. Someone else shot, according to witnesses, someone else fired shots into the vehicle after the shooting. And the man's cooperating with police. So is the person who fired into his vehicle cooperating with police. I don't know if it was a man, actually. It may have been a woman. They said person. I don't think they even indicated the gender. But there's riots and protests and terror attacks all around the country. In Aurora, Colorado, A vehicle drove through a crowd, at least one person hospitalized. Probably they were blocking the streets. They pushed down a fence, threw object at police officers in Aurora, Colorado. What are they doing there? Oh, that was for this guy, Elijah McClain. I forget his story. I forget whether that's the guy who was like anemic or something. Oakland, California, a courthouse fire. Los Angeles, damage to a courthouse and clashes with cops. Rioters were arrested in Omaha, Nebraska. Portland, Oregon, they breached the fence around a courthouse. They've been attacking people. Seattle, Washington, at one point during Saturday's day-long so-called protests, rioters threw an explosive device that created an 8-inch hole in a wall of the police department's East District precinct, I guess. A Starbucks store was destroyed over there. And other businesses were covered with graffiti, according to the Seattle Times. Disgusting. And there's this local radio host, who tweeted last month in maybe June or something like that, under President Trump, who tweeted about the Chaz or whatever, the occupied zone by the occupiers, the commies in Seattle. Trump tweeted about it. And this guy's all, chill, dog, D-A-W-G. He tweeted that, right? He said, I walked through the Chaz and there's nothing bad going on. And then a month and a half later, his own apartment gets all torn up. And the Starbucks, which is at the bottom of the building where he lives, I guess, gets all torn up. Crazy. So much for that chill dog stuff, huh? And now he's thinking of buying a gun. It's crazy, but it's laughable, but it's also evil, because they're the oppressors, these people, because they're blocking streets. People are trying to get to work or wherever they're trying to get to. They are destroying businesses. They are falsely accusing the cops of all kinds of madness. I had no idea. I was watching this liberal independent journalist named Michael Tracy, who's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show a couple of times, formerly with the Young Turks, but he's more of like an independent-minded guy. He's a little bit more honest, maybe a lot more honest, a lot less dishonest than the Young Turks, sleazy far lefties. They supported AOC. But he said that he visited places like Atlantic City, New Jersey. Atlantic City, New Jersey, what's that have to do with blacks and victimhood? And Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Green Bay, Wisconsin. These are places where he said that businesses are boarded up, damaged, some are still closed, and it's not just the COVID thing, the COVID shutdown. The liberals are so evil. But it's because they've been hit by these riots and destruction. And nobody, he's pointed out in articles that he's written. I have links to a video by him, and in his description, he links to articles like in Unheard. I tweeted it out. Follow me on Twitter at James Anton Hagen, at the Hake Report. But he points out that the New York Times, normally, for example, the Washington Post they try to document every police shooting because that's interesting information, right? Could be valuable for both sides. But nobody's documenting the vast destruction across multiple cities that you wouldn't even think of. Green Bay, Wisconsin, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Atlantic City, New Jersey, let alone Oakland, California, Los Angeles, Omaha, Portland, Seattle, Aurora, Colorado. Disgusting. Minneapolis is still messed up. Talk about crime causing poverty. That's what the riots are doing. And these protests that are just pushing evil. And they're trying to do more shutdowns because of this COVID thing, the liberals. Oh my gosh. Michael Tracy, I saw a video or listened to audio recording that was put out on a YouTube video of him asking the mayor of Portland, Oregon, this Ted Wheeler guy, looks like a total just a simp for evil. Weak guy, kissing up to the protesters like they have anything valid to say, which they don't, and talking about, oh, I'm not for the federal police coming in and enforcing some order and all that stuff. Michael Tracy, this journalist, liberal journalist, asked him, you know, is it wise for you to be out here and for these people to be out here during a pandemic? And this guy's all, I think that Black Lives Matter takes precedence over the pandemic. But he's trying to answer, the liberal dumb mayor. Google a picture of Ted Wheeler. He's this blonde guy. I don't know if he's a normal white, but he's a dumb liberal, looking ridiculous. He got maced or pepper sprayed or tear gassed, by the way, according to him. Or at least he played like he did. Maybe he did. Whatever. It doesn't matter. He's a lying liberal. You know, the people of Portland get what they deserve. They voted for him. What a weak sucker. But he's trying to answer this question, and these blacks and homosexual sounding people are yelling at Michael Tracy, a journalist guy, for asking a valid question. What about the pandemic? It's so ridiculous. They're not for, you know, they're just very selective in what they care about. It's so phony. Do you have any pictures of this guy? Yeah. Let's have a look at what this guy looks like. He's a joke. Look at them. He's even trying to wear some peach fuzz. Well, I don't know. He's grown, but sometimes he tries to have facial hair, but we're not fooled. He's still weak. He's still weak. He's a skinny guy. And speaking of skinny guys, Senator Tom Cotton. Yeah, that's a crazy picture. That's the one that makes me think, I don't think that guy is a normal. He's definitely not a Christian. Oh, man. That's after he allegedly got tear gassed. He's out there with the Black Lives Matter supporters, and he's getting called a fascist and all this stupid stuff. These people are really enemies of America. And so it's a shame that this guy got himself killed, but he bears part of the blame for being out there in the first place, the white boyfriend of the black female quadruple amputee. Because they don't have a leg to stand on. This false black victimhood narrative. Blacks are not the victims, they're the perpetrators. And the blacks who are taking up for it are doing a disservice. They're training, by the way, they're training kids to hate cops. It's just a fact. They're teaching their children to hate. I'm going to get to that, but, you know, I have to get to some calls and things. I'll tell you guys about that in the, maybe in the second hour here. But it's so ridiculous. Tom Cotton called slavery a necessary evil, but he was quoting the founding fathers. And you know what? People should be grateful for slavery. And the people who are complaining about slavery are enemies of America. They just are. It's the New York Times. It's the communists. I would like to stand on. I didn't mean to make fun of the girl about her lack, the lack of legs. This guy says, we have always hated cops. This guy over on Periscope. Who's we? This person called Who is Like God, and it's a lyin 314. Yeah, I don't know if they have always hated cops, but it's been pushed for a long time. This guy's saying, and you're a racist. That usually means they're telling the truth, right? When somebody's called racist, they're usually called racist for telling the truth and for being decent and for being fair. You know what? Let me read a few super chats. Thank you to Kid Combo, or congratulations to Kid Combo 187 for the subscription. Thank you to Army Ann for gifting these subscriptions. And Calm in the Chaos and Chief Og and Declan Black and Joshua Tree 83. Nice name. And Hydro PX, thank you for gifting the subscriptions as well. Christy. That's cool. And RC Podcast, Based AF, Based America First, asks, does she receive any government assistance? Referring, I think, to the lady in the young lady with the in the wheelchair, quadruple amputee. I do not know. Oh, no. He's referring maybe to what Hydro PX is saying with the diamond, saying, May's been calling for 3 years. Where's her husband? No, she's been calling for like 20 years. She's been calling my show for 3 years, all 3 years that I've been on the air. Right? I started September 2017 with Joel and Esteban. Polly J gave a diamond. Hydro PX asks, why does Earl agree with JLP but want you to kneel? That's a good question. Maybe we'll ask him. I'm sorry that I cannot take YouTube super chats, but you can support by going to streamlabs.com/the Hake Report or streamlabs.com/the Hake Report /V2. Maybe I'll set up a the Hake Report.live type of thing. I don't know if I'll be able to set that up. I think Jesse Lee Peterson.live is working. Jesse Lee Peterson.live. Boom. And it redirects to Streamlabs, but unfortunately he can't stream. Because, he can't stream on YouTube. They're communists. Before I get to this Senator Tom Cotton thing, let me quickly get to Earl from Michigan, and then I'll get back to it. Appreciate you guys joining. And you can call in, lyin, you so-called lion, because you're a lying person. Because of your race, you can pretend away the obvious. The obvious, Mr. Lion, who I think is probably a black guy, is that if racism existed, everybody would know that blacks are the most so-called racist people in the world. But because racism is a commie concept in the first place, it's only against whites. That's what's obvious, man. But you can call in if you actually have something to say. 888-775-3773. Let me get to my second favorite caller, Earl from Michigan, for a brief call. Appreciate you, Earl. What's up?
Hola, James, Senor James Hake of Northern California.
It's Southern California. L.A.
Southern California.
L.A. is Southern California.
That's where you are now?
That's where I've always been. I've never been in I've visited Northern California, but I was not born there. I was not raised there. And, this is SoCal.
I've been corrected. I just mentioned north. I didn't know whether you were in western part of California, northern, eastern, what I just said.
Chris is from NorCal. Or Central Cal? NorCal. But I've never heard him say hella, so I don't know if it's true. Anyways. Yeah, Los Angeles is Southern California. It's in the western part of California as well.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's how I feel about geography myself, man.
Yeah, first I'd like to thank...
Let me briefly interrupt. This is Rich. This guy, Lion, who's a lying person, Lion314 says, I won't call in because you won't actually reply because you're a coward by nature. That means he won't call in, even though I pick up with everybody pretty much. Cowards are bred by other cowards.
Yeah,
so he has to stay in the Periscope chat. What a loser, huh? What do you think about blacks who are calling whites cowards and they can't even call in? At least you call in, Earl. What do you think about that guy?
Yeah, I think they like to be tough on the radio when they can be heard or so forth. So
Yeah, but they're not tough on the radio. He's tough in the Periscope chat.
yeah,
That's
that's they feel safe and
yeah,
and you can't really respond to them.
right.
That's easy. That's what most cowards are. But you want to challenge somebody, face them or get on the radio and challenge what their points are.
Right. It's all right. I don't need to hear from him.
But
He's scared.
I thought he
I understand.
had a question.
Yeah.
I thought he had a question for me before.
Oh, that guy, Lion 314? Nah, he doesn't have a question for you. He's just.
Now somebody said had a question. You said you might ask me.
Oh yeah. Somebody asked. Why does Earl agree with Jesse Lee Peterson, but you want me to kneel? Is that the case? You agree with Jesse, but you want me to kneel to the blacks?
Does he know what he's talking about? When have I agreed with Jesse?
You agreed that. You agreed. Hold on. You agreed that it's okay to be white.
So that is so minor. I mean,
No,
you gotta search
that sounds
heaven and
minor.
earth
That
to
sounds
find
minor to you, but
anything.
it's major.
Anything.
It's major nowadays.
Something like that. I agree that the sky is blue. Now, is there anything else? It's so stupid and benign.
Yeah.
But, well, I like to thank Mays for speaking truth to power. I mean, not truth to power, but truth to ignorance. Like Art from Ohio and so forth, who had the nerve to critique me as far as having the right to speak just like he does.
He never said you don't have the right to speak. That's silly.
Yes, he did.
No, he
He
didn't.
asked me why don't I
You have the right to speak, but there are times when you should be quiet.
So do you. I
Right.
mean, just like your soliloquy that you just espoused us now. It is as white ring and racist as any David Duke's statement I've ever heard in my life.
You say
And you
that,
wonder
but it's
why I
really
call you-
meaningless.
I'll call you a racist. You should know. You should learn what a racist is. I think you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think what you think a racist is. It's dumb.
That's why
It's
I
a
call
dumb
you
concept.
racist. You like to travel in it and put your right wing sort of being superior out there and demean blacks.
You know what's
that's what I
funny,
wanna
Earl?
tell-
What's funny, Earl, is
Yeah.
you're the one who thinks you're superior because you're calling me
No.
racist when you don't think you're racist, and so you think you're superior to me, and you think you're
No,
superior to
that's a-
all the whites
that's a nice
who
try.
tell the truth.
That's a nice try.
Because it's the truth.
That's a nice try. Your very words convict you every time you open your mouth.
I
All
know, this
anybody
is
has
so
to do
funny.
play-
This
play
is the
one of
same guy who
your
talks about
podcasts back.
Jesus. He talks about Jesus, but he thinks that it's a woman's choice to kill the child in the womb, and that's his justification for supporting the Democrats. What a shame,
But
man.
you believe everything Jesse says about
Because
the
he's
Bible.
telling the truth.
You don't know nothing about the truth.
What do you know
how
what
do
I
you
know?
How do you know? How do you know it's the truth?
Because it's plainly logical.
Mr. Sinner, you
Huh?
mentioned you're not a Christian. How do you know it's the truth?
I don't know. It's
Prove
just
it.
obvious.
Just shut up lying. You got nothing to say.
Whatever.
Nothing to back your lying butt up. And when you ask about it, you skirt and run.
Dumb.
Find out you really don't have any answer to it.
I don't have to have an answer to it. You're a blind person.
Because you're wrong.
No.
You're a racist.
You're the one who's
You're
wrong.
tough. And
Baby
I like
Farrakhan.
All right, baby Hitler, you fascist pig. But
It's called communist pig, and that's what you are. You're a sucker for the
I
commies.
call you any name under the sun.
I don't think that you actually support free speech.
I do. I don't tell you to
No,
shut
you
up.
don't support free speech. You know why? You know why I say that?
Now we're in another subject.
You know why I say that?
Another deflection.
No, but this is an important one. Because you claim, oh yeah, you have the freedom of speech, but yet you support Democrats who hate the First Amendment.
Oh, shut up. Just because you disagree
I'm not gonna
with
shut
it,
up.
That's free speech. Free speech is allowing someone who disagrees with you to speak.
And that's
Not
what
the one who
Democrats
agrees with
don't
you all
want.
the time, you fool.
That's what the Democrats and the
But,
rhinos, by the way, do not
yeah.
want.
But as far as art, I never did get to art.
Yes,
that
you did.
clown, that wannabe, that so-called alpha,
You're just spouting words.
that you notice how you can spot him a mile away, a wannabe, a hanger-on. Talking about you and Jesse are alphas. You notice they always put themselves in an acceptable class when you want to be somebody. You know, well, we're the alphas.
I don't even know what
Me,
you're
you,
talking
and
about.
Jesse, we're the alphas. Hell, of course, that's what he's gonna say to make himself look good. Would an alpha be supporting somebody who talks about blacks incessantly like they're dirt, like they're filth, like
So,
they never
Earl,
should have been born? Every word out of their mouth is something
I have
negative
no idea
about
what you're
blacks.
talking about. It's ridiculous.
I know you don't. You're a racist and you believe it yourself.
Believe
you
what?
felt the same
Believe
thing.
what?
You felt white is better than white blacks all the time. Your whole philosophy.
I do not spout that.
Your whole show was focused on trying to find something bad about blacks.
No, it's not. I don't. It doesn't
Yes,
take
it
any
is.
trying whatsoever. You
Yes,
guys
it
throw
is.
your. Hold on, Earl.
Yes, it is.
No. It does not take any effort whatsoever to find something bad
Just
about
like,
blacks. You
Nate
call in
said.
almost every day, and that's something bad about the. You
Yes,
call in every
I
day
call
with
it
your
correct your
lies.
stupid idiot.
You guys throw your badness in our faces all the time, Earl.
Stupid idiot, but because very few of us does. Everybody's sucking up to you like little stupid. I don't want to lose my, religion or curse.
Yeah.
But they suck up to you. You put them down every day, and you got stupid blacks, even stupid black women, some of them, that suck up to you. You talk about them like dirt, and Jesse talks about them like dirt and filth, and they don't have the decency to stand up for themselves. They don't
That's
know when
dumb.
they're insulted.
Hey, Earl. You know, because they know that I'm not talking about them.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
You're talking about blacks as a race.
No,
as a people.
you don't even know what
said
you're talking about,
most
Earl.
blacks are this.
Anyways,
Most
I gotta
blacks-
run.
You don't know a damn about what most blacks are.
Yeah, you show yourselves pretty well. Earl, I gotta run. Nice talking with you. Adios.
Fool.
All right. Earl, the pro-abortion Christian voice of reason, says that's racist with a diamond. Dark Side of the Bear, what? Says lock your door. Duke of Earl is ticked. Yeah, lock your door says. Said something funny. Anyways. Oh, Lion from Georgia. The Lion from the tribe of Georgia. He has called in. I called him out. I think this might be his first time calling. Lion, what's your real first name?
That's all you get.
Wow. So how'd you find my show?
I'm just cruising through Periscope looking for all the other parasites that are on here talking crap about black people. And lo and behold, I found one.
Nice. So, but it's true crap.
No, it's not. It's never true crap. It's all subjective and it's created by your side of an argument.
No, when you
Sorry.
look at the people, like they're out protesting Black Lives Matter. That's a slur.
And you don't see why is it that you don't see the protests of white people who are protesting and bringing guns to somewhere in Michigan? That you don't speak about any of those things. You don't speak about statistics.
You don't know me?
Unless they're in your favor. Yeah, I do. I know you and Jesse and the rest of you sellouts.
Sellouts. So
Yeah,
what are you talking
sellouts.
about? Well, I don't care about the thing. If you cared about statistics, if you knew anything
Yeah.
about statistics, if you understood
Now you
statistics,
insult my intelligence by telling me I don't know about statistics, and you don't know me.
If you think that,
think
if you
that's
believe in racism,
comical.
then it shows that you don't know anything about statistics.
If I believe in racism,
Yes.
it means I don't know about the.
Correct.
Did you wait a minute? Are you trying to play on words here? Is this you trying to deflect and create another argument based
No,
on
you
some
brought up
nonsense
statistics.
garbage?
You brought up statistics. You called me so-called racist, as if that means
Yeah,
anything.
you are. You're racist.
Who
You're
cares? Who cares?
I know. I don't care either. I just want you to
So
know
then
that
why do you
are.
bring it up? If you don't care
Because
about
you-
racism,
Because you are.
if you don't care about racism, why do you bring it up?
The point is, I don't care. I want you
No,
to know
if you
that
don't care about racism, why do you bring it up?
I'm answering your question. I want you to know that we all know that you're a racist.
Who's we?
We, sign the black people who listens to your. Who
So,
comes across
but
your-
you didn't answer.
your
You didn't
garbage
answer the question.
Periscope.
You didn't answer the question. If you don't
Actually,
care,
I did. I just didn't. I didn't answer.
No, you
the
did
way
not
that
answer
you
the
want me
question.
to. Yeah, I did.
No,
You
so
just
you're
said-
showing me
you
lying.
don't want me to jump through the hoops that you create. That's the
Liar.
problem.
Hey, liar. You're showing me liar.
Hey, you're the
That-
liar. You were born a
No,
liar.
you're lying, and you're showing me
came out-
that you do
had
care
some
about.
egg.
You do care about this fake idea of racism because you hate
How is
white
it
people.
fake? How is it fake?
It's fake because you pretended that you don't care, but then you said,
Wait, no,
"We
no, no.
want you
How
to
is
know
racism
that
fake?
we
How
know
is racism fake?
we know that you are racist."
Listen, how is racism fake?
Racism is
not
fake.
about me. Take me out of it. How is it fake?
Racism is fake because suckers like you
Wait a
fall
minute.
for it.
Hey, I said take me out of it.
I'm not taking you out of it.
How is-
I have the freedom
how
of
is
speech, man.
racism
I have the freedom
fake?
of speech, liar.
You should be able to be. you
We
should be
know,
able to-
everybody knows that it's
Everyone
only
knows.
applied against whites when in fact the blacks are blatantly anti-white.
How are we anti-white?
Because every time some white person says anything true or
Like what?
defends
what do you say
themselves
that's true?
or defends themselves, they're called racist.
Wait a minute. What is true? Give me an example.
An
of you
example
making a
of the truth.
statement.
An example of truth.
Yeah.
President Trump said the black community is living in hell. That's the truth, and he was called racist for it.
No, that's not the reason why he was called racist.
Yes, he was called racist for it.
That's a dumb statement. You gave me
You are a
several
dumb.
examples.
You are giving dumb statements.
You're
You believe
a
in racism.
Dumb,
How old are you?
knucklehead.
How old are you?
I'm older than you, obviously.
That's a shame. That
You're an
you're
idiot.
this old and you
So
fall
Donald
for the
Trump-
fake.
Donald Trump
It's
is
dumb.
called racist.
That you're
in
this
your- in
old
your
and you're.
mind,
I'm gonna put you on hold
Donald
if you don't be
Trump-
quiet. It's pretty sad that he's older than me. He claims, and he falls for the fake racism lie. Such a shame. Lion, you're back. You're back on the air. What were you saying about Trump?
Your statement you just said was Donald Trump was called racist because he said that black people live in hell.
Yeah, they're living in hell, like the inner city
That's
communities.
not why he was called racist.
Yes, it was one of many reasons why he was
No,
called
it was
racist.
not.
Okay,
That's the
why was he
problem.
called racist?
He's called racist because of what he did in his early career.
No, he was not called racist for those things.
Oh,
That's a
God.
false
Yes, he
excuse,
was.
Lion. That's a false
not-
excuse. You're lying, liar.
His father
Hey, liar.
would not allow black people to rent or be a tenant in his apartment.
So what?
in his
Nobody
place.
wants
That's
blacks to
one.
rent. Many
Oh,
people do
that's
not want
racist.
blacks to rent. It's not racist, Lion.
That is racist.
And first and second of all, that's not even really what happened. But
That's one.
no,
wait a
no,
minute.
that's not
one.
that's not why,
Here's
Lion.
another- here's another
Lion,
example.
hey Lion, nope. You have to stay on. You have to stay with me. Hey Lion, Lion.
I told you.
Hey liar. Hey liar.
You get to
Hey,
speak
liar.
on your own show.
Why would somebody not want blacks to rent?
Because he's racist.
So you see, you're not an honest person.
Obviously.
You are a liar.
That's
People would-
obvious.
No, hold on,
Come
hold
man.
on.
What is-
Why
you're not
would
that
people?
dense.
Why would people not want blacks to rent?
Because they are racist.
Nope,
That's why.
that's not why. That's not why.
So give me your racist explanation, please.
Because disproportionately,
Watch this, everybody. Listen. Watch.
disproportionately, blacks are messing up the areas. They're crying racism. They're not paying rent. It's a disproportionate problem in the black community, and that's just a fact. And nobody wants to admit it because they're called racist for so-called telling the truth. And here you have this liar who hates
Ever
Trump
heard of West Virginia?
when Trump was loved by the blacks up until he ran for president.
Nobody loved him.
Yes,
No
they
one
did.
loved him.
They did love
No
him.
one did.
You're a liar.
Hey, I'm a black guy. We didn't love him. Tell me the truth. We didn't
Well,
love him.
I know because you don't love anybody. You're fake.
But I definitely don't love you.
Right. I know. So,
All right, so listen.
so you
have
believe
heard
in the
of West
fake
Virginia?
idea of racism. You're a sucker.
Listen,
You're a sucker.
I have a question.
All right.
Have you heard of West Virginia?
Yes, I have.
Have you heard of Alabama?
Yes, I have.
Have you heard of Mississippi?
What's your point, Lion? Liar?
My point is that there's a overwhelmingly large number of white trash that lives in those places, and I bet you Trump would have easily had to brought them in.
What's your point?
And they've been destroyed.
And what is white trash? What is white trash, liar? Hey, liar.
They usually fit your criteria. They
What
look
is
like
white
you.
trash?
You're white trash. You,
Oh, okay.
Personally, you.
All right. Interesting.
You're an idiot. You have no education. You're very low level. Peterson must have just found you on the curb somewhere and gave you a job because he needs some dumbass white guy to fit a role.
I guess I'll just hang up on him. He has nothing. He has to just cry racism. Anyways, I'm going to get to more of your calls. I appreciate it. I had to hang up because he was like starting to get nasty. Let me see. Why do blacks deflect everything, says Hydro PX. Yeah. Because in order to deny the truth, you have to. He brought up statistics, right? And I said, if you believe in statistics, then you know that this whole racism thing is a lie. Because statistically, blacks are the ones attacking whites and each other at disproportionate rates. And, you know, because they're disproportionately like everything, disproportionately so-called poor, disproportionately having the kids out of wedlock, disproportionately all that, it just gets worse and worse and worse. They suffer from everything, including the false accusations. They get falsely accused by each other, by the way. President Trump, in his early days, he rejected low-income property people. He did not want that. He wanted to be an up-and-comer. He wanted high-level people. And he didn't want bums hanging out on the street in front of his hotels. Because who does? Nobody does. And they said, you know, the stupid lying media, they said, oh, he didn't want veterans. He tried to kick the veterans out from his whatever, from the streets in front of him. Of course. That is leading to blight. You have to be tough and you have to stand for what's right. And you can't just allow people to walk all over you just because they're poor, innocent victims. And we have the freedom in America, freedom of association, to associate with whomever we want. Liar has I call him liar because he called himself lion and he said that's all you get. So liar has the right to just only associate with dumb, brainwashed, blind black people and hate me and hate Jesse. What a sucker. Art wanted to talk with Lion. Sorry, Art. I didn't spot that, but I'll get to Art and Justin. They have some stuff they want to say. Joe and Great Tiger. I will get to you guys. That's Racist says, racism is fake because it doesn't affect decent blacks. Yeah. That's Racist gave a diamond and said, why don't decent blacks that do well cry racism? And he says, you're white trash, says the racist police. Good point. What if I started talking about black trash? Anyways, Based AF and Based America First says, bling for our favorite white trash. Thank you for the diamond. Very nice. Hydro PX gave a Ninja Guinea. You would think that blacks are handicapped, how everybody has to take care of them now with Black Lives Matter. And then Gorgonzola says, oh, I'm sorry, this Hake's house. Social Pariah, thank you, man, for the Streamlabs support. He says, it's curious that Jesse's suspension of 3 months is exactly the amount of time until the elections are practically over. I put in the word practically. Any thoughts on that, Hake? It is very interesting. It is very interesting. It's very suspicious in my mind that we get copyright flags all the time because we use different songs. Some of these are from our friends, and it says, hey, copyright flag, you used this song from CD Baby from this person. Or when we got the first strike on the Jesse Lee Peterson show several years ago, before I knew about this stuff, I used some Grammys footage of this degenerate black Compton rapper. What's his name? He's saying this, I don't know, he's dumb independent rapper guy. No, he's more of an underground guy, but he's up and comer. Young guy from Compton. Anyways, he sang this, he did this song and he did this performance, and people had chains, and he was wearing like a blue prison outfit. And we played some of it while Jesse Lee Peterson was commenting on it, right? Copyright strike. Bam! I was like, whoa. And we couldn't upload any videos longer than 15 minutes for 6 months. That was brutal. That was back in 2014, 15, 16, around there. And I'm like, oh man. So that was our Kendrick Lamar. Another brainwashed sucker. We played it, and then fortunately we weren't streaming at that point. But now, and they said, this is owned by CBS or Grammys or whatever, right? But this one, it says, owned by, the copyright takedown notice was by Sony Music Entertainment, parentheses, Japan, Incorporated, comma. And they say, what is the content taken down? You can, more information available upon request. And then it has an email address. We emailed different people, no response. Interesting, we've never seen that ever before. Ever. And it says, sorry, because of COVID, we can't respond fast. Interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah, maybe it is targeted takedown. Maybe it's by hand, or maybe it's just they set up these algorithms that are anti-white, anti-Christian, anti-conservative. Some of the buzzwords that they wanted taken away in the Google, I think it came out in Google. From Google, it was leaked information. MSM was a buzzword that they didn't want you using. That's a buzzword that indicates anybody using the term MSM, which is short for mainstream media, is a troll, a Russian, an alt-right, something like that, right? And alt-right, everybody has a right to be alt-right. They're not evil people. It was a mostly peaceful protest over in Charlottesville until they allowed Antifa to come in and attack. The alt-right defended themselves. And this one guy goes crazy for whatever reason, drives into a crowd. One guy. Most of the people were very fine people. Totally peaceful. But, the alt-right is the language of the oppressed people. I'm paraphrasing when MLK said, riots are the language of the oppressed. But the alt-right don't even riot. They tried to bring, some law and order, decency, whatever. They even cleaned up parks and stuff. Some of them in the, one of those groups. Picked up litter, and they weren't convicts that had to pick up trash or anything like that. They tried to clean up. Some of them were angry, and some of them, may have done things that were maybe ill-advised or unwise. But for the most part, they didn't break the law. They did not harm anybody, but they're smeared as Nazis. Makes you curious about history, by the way. Because if this fake news is so prevalent and they're blatantly lying about Trump all the time, makes you wonder if they're lying about a lot of history, too. Really doesn't matter. It just shows you that these people are liars. and you don't have to trust them from here on out. So this guy, Lyin, who believes that I'm racist, says, the mind of the white man is so fragile, he will probably go shoot himself after this. LOL. I'm going to go ahead and ban him. Because it's kind of, he's getting a little out of control. You have to clamp down after a while, right? Dark Side of the Bear White gave a subscription to Gorgonzola. Thank you and congratulations. King Alpha Nerd says, I'm black and I know for a fact before he put his name in the ballot, the majority of black people loved Trump. Yeah. They all loved his show and they wanted to beat him. All of his alleged racists, racism, they didn't care about that. They saw him as a man of money. And he was a very well-liked, universally well-liked man. A man of money and power. Lyin is a liar because he is internally mad his daddy Obama is gone and can't pander to his blackness because his hatred for white people is too strong. So don't speak for all black people, liar. I'm not with you, degenerate blacks, says King Alpha Nerd. That's true. And you hear that sleazy guy, Earl from Michigan, very sleazy of him to smear the decent blacks who support what's right. They love the truth. They're not taking it personally because they know that I'm not talking about them. And if I am talking about something that applies to them too, they take it and they correct it. Isn't that interesting? When Jesse Lee Peterson is telling the truth, he tells the truth to everybody, right? And when it comes onto you, the mirror comes onto you, it's like not pleasant, but is appreciated by people who appreciate truth. And that's not by suckers. It's just a shame. These guys are old, too. Anyways, Joe Maddox says, pro sports gets woke. I hope they all go broke now. You know, maybe they will. But lots of times, evil men will get money still. Joe Maddox gave a subscription to users on this channel. Right on to Kid Combo 1. You know, We are at the top of the hour. It is 10 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. I have calls on the line. And let's just do one song if we can. Just one song, not two songs. Quick break. I'll be back in just a few, guys. Appreciate you joining. And I'll be taking calls, and I'll be talking about some of the things that have developed. Tom Cotton I'll touch on. This Roger Ailes movie. A few headlines. This John Lewis Memorial. Ridiculous. This teaching of children to hate. And, of course, your calls. So I'll be back in just a few. Hang tight, guys. I am back. What's up, guys? King Alpha Nerd gave a clarification super chat. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. And he said, I meant to say that all the blacks wanted to be next to him, referring to President Trump. Look at how many black celebrities took a photo op with him. Aren't they the sellouts? Very interesting question. Yeah, Trump was universally liked. And he gave it up for us to tell the truth. Even being hated and getting a lot of people, a lot of fake companies like NBC, Universal, and disgusting organizations like that to boycott him for telling the truth. That yes, there are Mexican rapists. Indeed, it's a fact. But no, they had to call it a lie because he was telling the truth. They get mad at him for telling the truth. And you know, I was thinking about how I was informed that Trump did not want low-income property people. And you know what? Honestly, we should get rid of all that entirely. Honestly. I don't know if Trump would get rid of that. Maybe he doesn't see it that way. He is a boomer, right? I knew this boomer named Bill O'Reilly, whom I generally respect. You know, some of you guys do, some of you guys don't. But he was for this thing called raising the minimum wage. That's so wrong. Minimum wage and so-called low-income property, which is another word for subsidized housing. Those things cause more problems, not less. They raise the costs of homes, and they raise the costs of living, and they raise the costs of products. Yeah, for a short term, this minimum wage thing, you raise it, the people on minimum wage can afford more until the prices catch up. And then now you're just spending more money to get less. That's all it does. Same thing with the subsidized housing. You shouldn't be doing that. If you got rid of all that, think about what pennies used to buy. Pennies used to actually buy stuff. Nowadays, people just leave pennies on the ground. They don't even care. Sometimes they'll collect them, but it's ridiculous. Get rid of minimum wage. You know what? Before I get to Tom Cotton and the calls, I want to tell you, I didn't know that this guy had died. I got this from Fox News. Well, actually, I got it from this Michael Tracy's video. His video is called Have the Riots Been Covered Up? And I have the link to it. I will have it in my blog post. But Michael Brooks died. Michael Brooks, some of you guys may not be familiar with him. He was a liberal guy. And my introduction to him was very brief, which, you know, wasn't in person or anything. But it was in a clip that I came across about Jesse Lee Peterson. And he's in the crowd, or was in the crowd, with Sam Cedar, who's a liberal host. Pretty far left guy. The Young Turks crowd, right? Something along those lines, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But this guy, and I'm showing you a photograph, or Joel or Chris's, and it's not the older guy who died, it's the younger one who died in this photograph. I'm showing you a photograph of Michael Brooks. This man, he died. What the heck? Shocking. And it's a Fox News headline, too. Progressives mourn the loss of political commentator Michael Brooks. The popular podcast host died of, quote, a sudden medical condition. And let me just play for you a brief clip that was my only introduction, and I guess the last time I ever saw anything from him, too. Because I didn't pay a lot of attention. But, he was, you know, in this liberal side of YouTube, right? And liberal side of the podcast world. And so they or their fans, or somebody, probably a fan, got a, what was it called? Cameo. You can get a Cameo shout out from Jesse Lee Peterson, right? Cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. And so one of his fans apparently they had this running joke. Let's get this conservative talk host named Steven Crowder, right? Pretty famous so-called conservative talk host. Let's get Steven Crowder to debate Sam Cedar, who's a liberal host, right? And Sam Cedar has been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show in the past, and Jesse Lee Peterson has appeared on Steven Crowder's podcast in the past. Well, we have it on our channel. I don't know if he ever aired it on his channel. But regardless, he was interviewed by Steven Crowder. And so this guy is introducing this cameo clip, cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, of Jesse Lee Peterson giving a shout out as requested by a fan to address the Sam Cedar Steven Crowder controversy. And so that's the context of this clip. But this is my introduction. This man talking that you hear and see at the beginning and end was this man named Michael Brooks who died. Just to introduce you to a little bit of who he was, what he was like, how he looked, how he sounded. Just listen to this.
You know, there's a lot of people in the conservative movement, and it appears that they're not happy about Steven Crowder's just gutlessness, about his, shall we say, beta-ness.
Steven, this is Jesse. I hear from Sam that you won't debate him, that you have cold feet, and that you are a beta male. Beta, if it's true, beta male. And by the way, Sam said he is an alpha male. Alpha male, not a beta male. And that you are afraid to debate him, Steven. And that your father should stop allowing you to be beta. Debate Sam, Steven. Don't be afraid. Don't be a beta male. Let me know how it goes.
That's what I like about Reverend Peterson is he's got a mentor about him. So, you know, he properly called Steven, because look, we all heard the tape. Steven's a mega beta. It's embarrassing to even mention his name, but I like how Reverend Peterson says, tell me how it goes. Like, after you've stopped being an embarrassing beta, check in with me.
So this guy was a liberal guy. That was Michael Brooks. But even the liberals love Jesse. Isn't that nice? But he died suddenly. I don't know if it was COVID or what. They didn't say COVID, but it was a sudden medical condition. Crazy, huh? And he looked like he was my age. So, rest in peace to Michael Brooks. That guy died. Crazy. You never know, huh? I just had to share that because that was like, whoa, he died? What? Young guy to be dying. Such a shame. Quickly, before I get to calls, Senator Tom Cotton. Tom Cotton is a senator from Arkansas or Kansas. And he's been a senator for a while. And I don't know if he's a solid guy, really, but he's respected. My dad respects him. I know that over time he's sent emails regarding him to me. And other people respect him. And he's not too anti-Trump for the most part. I don't know, like I said, I don't know a lot about him. But this was a Drudge headline. Senator Tom Cotton calls slavery a necessary evil. And I say nice, because the blacks should be grateful for the necessary evil of slavery, by which many of them got to be here, born here, and even be considered citizens, according to the 13th Amendment or something, or the 14th? The Anchor Baby Amendment, which is not true. The 13th one? Okay, so it's not even true, right? Wait, is that the one? Is that the one that... Whatever. One of them, I think the 14th was the one that let them, if they were born here, they could be... Yeah, the 13th freed the slaves. The 14th let them be here citizens. Born in the jurisdiction of the United States, right? Well, now they're pretending that the Anchor Babies were born to illegal aliens, which it's very debatable that they're in fact, it's not. They shouldn't be allowed to be called citizens. No offense, Nick. He was not a child of illegals. I don't think he was anyways. Maybe we should repeal the 14th. Or just, maybe it would take an executive order, but it would also take a change in the understanding amongst the common culture. We have to bring people into understanding of reality, too. Because Well, I don't know. Maybe you can do it by force. The liberals definitely do it by force. They pushed homosexuality, so-called same-sex marriage on us by force, abortion by force. You notice that the Supreme Court makes up fake laws? Anyways, and fake rights. But anyways, here's a quote from Cotton in an interview with the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, published on Sunday. According to the far-left outlet Reuters, which is a very anti-American, anti-white, anti-Christian activist organization. Oh, Nick is sentiment illegal. What the heck? Makes him half illegal. Anyways, as Tom Cotton says, as the founding fathers said, it was unnecessary. It was the necessary evil upon which the Union was built. I don't know about that. But the Union was built in the way, as Lincoln said, to put slavery on the course to its ultimate extinction. Yeah, many of the founding fathers did not want slavery. Many of the founding fathers, this is back before they even started the United States. And who cares for the people that did? Who cares? It was the reality of life back then, and it wasn't half as evil as abortion. If they abuse, if they're inhumane and like beating the people unnecessarily, but even the Bible deals with that. Masters, do not be cruel to your slaves, and slaves, obey your masters, right? If you can get your freedom, do so. But if you're a slave, don't let it bother you. Each person should be content in life. Cotton, seen as a possible 2024 presidential candidate, that's like looking way too far ahead, made the remark describing legislation he intends to introduce on Thursday that would withhold federal tax money from an elementary and secondary school curriculum promoted by the New York Times 1619 Project. The New York Times is an evil outlet, anti-American. They have a long history of being anti-American, anti-freedom, anti-white, anti-Christian. I think they even took up for commies. I think they even... Didn't they deny the Holodomor or something? How do you pronounce that word? Holodomor? Where a bunch of people in, was it Ukraine, were starving thanks to communism. They took the land just like what they're doing to the whites in South Africa, and I think they tried it in Zimbabwe or something. Took the land from the competent and gave it to the incompetent. Redistribution of starvation, and people were starving as a result. Mass starvation. I think that's what the Holodomor was, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And the New York Times said, people are hungry, but they're not starving. I learned that from Cernovich's movie, believe it or not. Cernovich just put out this documentary called Hoaxed, talking about how for a long time these people really have blood on their hands. They support abortion like madmen. Or mad females, too. Female-minded. The 1619 Project was launched supposedly last year to coincide with the 400th anniversary of the arrival of so-called African slaves on America's shores. It would place the consequences of slavery and the contributions of so-called African Americans, which don't exist unless they were born in Africa and came here, at the center of U.S. history. It's ridiculous. Here's a quote from Tom Cotton. We have to study the history of slavery and its role and impact on the development of our country, because otherwise we can't understand our country. And we should not be falling all over ourselves, apologizing and pretending like it was such an awful thing. There were awful things that took place in it, and there are awful things that take place today, even worse today. He contended the 1619 Project describes America as, at root, a systematically racist country to the core and irredeemable. I reject that root and branch, says Tom Cotton. Yeah, they believe they're suckers, and they love to sucker other people, too. They're they're deceiving, evil people. The Arkansas Republican later dismissed news coverage, he's a Republican, Tom Cotton, that he had described slavery as a necessary evil. He said, this is the definition of fake news, he wrote on Twitter. I said, the founders viewed slavery as a necessary evil. And to listen to this commie who's responding, Nikole, with a K, Hannah-Jones, Nikole Hannah-Jones, hyphenated last name, a so-called Pulitzer Prize winning, meaning not to be trusted, so-called journalist, who launched the 1619 so-called project, disputed Cotton's claim with her own tweet. You said, quote, as the founding fathers said, it was the necessary evil upon which the Union was built. That as denotes agreement. And I say, shut up, commie. The founders were way better men than you. And they're better men than any of the Democrats or most of the media, probably any of the media, honestly. You know, I praise some of these people. I acknowledge Mike Cernovich is a pretty good journalist in some ways, and this guy, Michael Tracy. But they're liberals at heart, or libertarian or whatever. And these men were real men, these founders. And so what if they owned slaves? That was the times. Slavery is not in itself evil. It's not ideal, but I can't say that it's evil. What the heck? How are you going to call it evil? It's one man owning another. It's not ideal. I wouldn't want it. Be a pain in the neck. I wouldn't want to own anybody, and I wouldn't want to be owned. But these people falling all over themselves like, oh, it was racist. It's their fault for being available as slaves, right? It's in the past. There's Tom Cotton. New York Times, by the way, came under criticism earlier this year for publishing a column by this guy, Tom Cotton, in which he urged the federal government to use the military to put down these street so-called protests over so-called police violence. In fact, the riots, they were riots and they were terror attacks, and imaginary racial injustice that led to a top New York Times opinion editor resigning after this guy's article came out. Because they're commies. They want the destruction of the United States. And Nikole Hannah-Jones, Nikole, Hannah-Jones, a black woman, mixed race looking like, light-skinned fairly, with a dyed red hair, looks like a clown, looks like a black female Ronald McDonald. What an evil person. Why are you going to put any stock in what she says? Nasty. April 2015, she became a staff writer for the New York Times by way of, dare I say, affirmative action. So anyways, that's that. That's the story on Tom Cotton. The Roger Ailes movie, by the way, is available. I just honored and respected Roger Ailes. Some of you guys may know more than I do about him. I don't know a whole lot about him other than that he founded and built Fox News back when it was great. And it was great, I think. You know, it was a good step, I think, in many ways. They put a platform. Oh my gosh, what the heck? That is disturbing. These guys these jokers, they put a picture of this Nikole Hannah-Jones right next to me. Whose hair is better? But anyways, Roger Ailes, he was a white history hero. He has died. He died in 2017 at the young age of, I think, 77. But he's being honored in a movie, in his own words, too, and others, by Jon Voight, who is a respected actor, conservative guy. You know, for an actor, I don't know much about him, other than that he's the father of Angelina Jolie, who's far left. But he said that he met Roger Ailes with his family and Glenn Beck and others at Fox News. You know, this would have been years ago when Glenn Beck was maybe telling the truth about Barack Obama hating white people and stuff like that. Glenn Beck used to be a pretty solid guy. At least he sounded like one, right? And Voight said, I got to know him as a straight shooter, which is a nice thing to say about a man. When I called, he picked up the phone, and I was honored to have that kind of relationship with him. The media always portrays Roger negatively, and it was important for me to show him as the wonderful man that he was. That's cool. The only thing I can say about these other portraits of him is that they're wrong. They're very It's very important that people see Roger speak for himself. Yeah, they put out this disgusting movie called Bombshell, in which, you know, they pretend that he, I don't know, was gross with the women. Who knows what the truth is, but don't get into these sleazy rumors, right? It's not good for you or him or anybody else. So right on, happy White History Month, courtesy of John Voight. And that website is maninthearena.com. I think I might check that out. It's available on Prime Video, which is Amazon, which is Jeff Bezos, who also owns Washington Post, enemy of America, really. But it's still worth checking out, I think. It's available for $5 unless you have Amazon Prime. Maybe it's free. I don't know. Whatever. It debuted this past Friday. $200,000 budget. Pretty modest, I guess. Directed by Michael Barnes, who's an attorney. Crazy. It originated after a conversation between Barnes and Elizabeth Ailes, Roger's widow. So isn't that nice? The widow, the former wife of Roger Ailes, standing by her man, or the late husband, right? So that speaks well to his character for the wife to be still liking him. And, you know, as bad as it is to divorce and remarry, Trump's ex-wives don't hate him. Isn't that interesting? They won't smear him. Maybe during divorce they sent out a few false accusations, but afterwards they like him. You can only get nasty, ugly women to accuse him of stuff. And there were 20 women, evil, nasty, filthy women, who accused Roger Ailes of stuff. Men's History Month is coming up, by the way. Starting, I think Saturday is the first of the month. So, get pumped. By the way, White History Month is for everybody. Everybody should love white people. Let me quickly get to some calls. And then I will read a few of your super chats and stuff. Justin, a first-time caller, has been on hold for some time, out of Alabama. Justin, thank you for holding. Justin, what's up?
Hey, James, first-time caller, big fan of yours and Jesse's. I was listening to that clip you had of Jesse. That was funny. I broke up laughing.
Yeah. And wasn't that nice? That speaks well of Michael Brooks, of appreciating like Jesse was treating him like a mentor. And actually Jesse didn't give credence. He didn't know who Sam or like Sam and Steven. Those are the two of the most common names. He had no idea that he was getting into a beef between these big YouTubers or whatever. Anyways.
Yeah, Crowder usually stays pretty good, but every now and then he kind of comes in a little weak, a little beta. So yeah, I agree. So I was listening to the two previous callers, and it enraged me so much that I had to call. So for Earl and Lyin, I'm not going to ask them a question. I'm going to ask them a question. If we look at the facts, the straight shooting facts, in the entire history of mankind, name one nation that is predominantly black that has had success in any way, financially, technologically. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. What's the reason for that? I mean, what's the blame game there? I know that they blame slavery for why they're behind now.
And name a civilization that didn't have slaves.
Exactly.
And they pretend that chattel slave was different. What's that?
The African slaves were sold by other African slaves.
Right.
It's kind of similar to today. That's probably the worst thing that you could have is your own people selling you out, but they don't acknowledge that. Same as today, where they have them killing each other in the streets in Chicago, yet they still don't acknowledge that.
Well, you know what?
And those are the real problems.
But you know what? It's not even a bad thing to be selling, if you're a black person selling other blacks to slavery, because you're not into the race thing. You're into, my tribe is selling off you guys are the enemy, We're selling you into slavery. It wasn't because they're not into the dumb, blind, fake racism thing.
And it's
So,
just
you know,
annoying that
Joseph, the guy who was, I think he came from Israel, right? Something like that. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers into Egypt.
So it's something that's been around in history in every civilization since the dawn of time. It's happened,
Yeah.
And I feel like at the end of the day, Tom Cotton made a really good point. It was a necessary evil. Well, yeah, because if it doesn't happen, you still live in Africa dying of malnutrition in your mid-30s, and that's your life expectancy. So, yeah, it kind of was a necessary evil to give you the opportunities that you do have today. Yet that's not good enough because you're still complaining, and the racism that really does exist in this country today is towards people like me and you, white, conservative males.
Yeah,
We're
and
the
in
ones
fact,
that are
it's
put
and
where
in
the
fact,
devil-
it's not racism. It's they hate us because we're conservative, decent people. We're in the way. We're in the way of their power,
Yeah,
and
it
we're
makes me
in
angry.
the
I
way
have two
too
daughters.
because we're like less likely to be so brainwashed by this dumb stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they just want to smear the decent people, smear the innocent.
No, you're right. And brainwash is a perfect example because look at Trump. You know how many rap songs Trump's been in before he
I know
became president?
exactly. Yep.
And how quickly that they can be brainwashed by the left.
Right.
It's almost embarrassing that they're that easily manipulated.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's the hypocrisy and the double standards. I'm tired of them. I have two little girls, and I don't want them growing up in a world like this. It makes me sick to my stomach. It really does. So,
But hey, the world is evil. That's the world has always been evil, and evil is growing around us, right? Because we're not standing up and enforcing good into the world. But don't be disheartened by that. Just if you're perfect, your daughters will be protected. It seems like.
Yeah. No, and I try to raise them the best of my ability. I try not to. I know. I listen to Jesse a lot.
Yeah, trying is no guarantee, man.
You're right. I try not to let their mother put too much of herself into them, and because she's a little bit emotional at times. I'm trying to raise them up the right way. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's all you can do, and that's a big reason why there's the blacks today are struggling because they don't have a father in the house. It's just like Jesse said, when you grow up in a one parent household, you lack a lot from your father, and you got to have a father's.
But it's also bad when the father's weak. So that's why it's important that you not that you overcome this stuff, so that you're not distraught over the evil of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to put my 2 cents in. Big fan.
Right on, man.
Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it.
Hey.
Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks, Jess. Bye bye.
All right. Let me get to Art in Ohio. He wants to respond. He wanted to talk to Lyin, the liar, whom I kicked off of Periscope because he was just getting too evil. But Art, thanks for holding. What's up?
Man, nothing chilling, man. God bless you. And first of all, see, this is how alpha male talks or whatnot, unscripted, ain't written down. This talks masculine, talks clear. You can understand them. You ain't like Earl. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing against no people who stutter or whatnot. But if you gonna at least stutter, at least make sense when you stutter. Long story short. And then I was about to say about your lady Mays, it's like, honey, I'm pretty sure that your husband, if he is your husband, allegedly, he's got to be either starving or verbally lacking conversation from you because you stay talking to Hake 7 days a week. You need to get off the phone a little bit more because you clearly ain't listening to Hake and learning nothing. Okay. And
yeah.
That's my last thing for them two or whatnot.
I wonder I wonder what Maze looks like. It would be nice to meet her sometime. She says that she's been to L.A. She said that she walked or driven by the Bond building here.
Yeah,
but
you know what? In my 33 years of living, Hake, man, with people like that, I tend to learn that the people who got ugly insides and or evil from the inside, it tends to come from the outside. You see what I'm saying?
Affects them. Yeah, they turn ugly eventually.
Yeah, it affects them eventually. And no disrespect to whatnot, but it is what it is. If you got an ugly inside, you ugly on the outside, then oh well, you need to get your ugly self in the house because you're scaring everybody. Long story short. So then you do the lion, beta lion who was calling or whatnot. Man, bro, this the problem with the black community or whatnot. They don't have no points, so they so quick to try to rah, sound like a weed eater. You revving a weed eater up like ying, 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 ying. They just so quick to get so emotional and mad. Well, calm down and it's shut your mouth because you got one mouth and two ears. And listen, I'm explaining it to you. Okay, well why the white people seem to not like to be around black people is because you black females keep moving into their neighborhood, bringing the dysfunction and the dirt from your neighborhood into their neighborhood. And then when they try to tell you, i.e. George Floyd on camera, we clearly see what happened. You mofos try to go crazy on them. So heck no, I don't want to live around you, and they don't want to live around you. And
right.
It's not racist because they don't want to live around you, man. You need to get your house in order, or whatnot. Stop trying to plaster blame, female, liberal female. Get yourself, pull your panties up, and come down and get on earth, man. It's not all about you. Everybody don't want you. Long story short, and that's the problem. And I ain't saying it ain't no racism out there, because clearly in Columbus, Ohio, where I'm at, it's definitely some racism going on in the court, because all this black allegedly black lesbians matter, where they don't seem to matter when it pertains to my kid. He ain't did nothing wrong, and I dang sure ain't did nothing wrong. And they ain't did nothing but General Flynn me up here in Columbus. So when you start wearing them, taking care of the alpha males.
What's happening to you? What's happening to you in the court thing? I didn't follow that.
I'm going to run it by you real quick, and hopefully your callers get what I'm saying. They're basically General Flynn and me down here. They basically made me go to court, try to pay all these fines and stuff to drain me of assets to where I can't take care of myself and even pay to even get my son, let alone, man, it's so crazy, man.
You know what? It sounds like you're fighting for custody of your son?
In their General Flynn and me, man, the same politics that they used on
By General Flynn, you're talking about how they called him guilty of something. I don't know what.
And
so they're trying to take you to hold on. Are they trying to take you to jail, or are they just trying to keep your son away from you?
They're draining my resources, so I'm not able to fight to try to get him.
You know what, man?
Go ahead.
You know what Jesse Lee Peterson recommends, and I think it's a good recommendation, is don't waste your money in these courts. You're not going to win. It's just going to be an endless battle. Even if you won the rights, it sounds like you're in a custody battle with the mother of your son. The mother's going to make it hell even without the court. So it's going to be a waste. It's just a waste of money.
Well,
just consider it lost. No, hold on.
Well,
it's just consider it lost. And maybe once he turns 18, he'll return to you and he'll understand. But I don't think that there's a need for you to be draining your resources fighting this stuff.
Well, it's a little bit more than that, and
okay.
That's why I don't give y'all my real name.
She falsely accused you or something of crimes?
Well, not even only that. She don't have no evidence, and what I'm learning.
Well, I know, but if you can any way that you can break away from that madness, stay out of the courts. Stay out of them, because the courts are pure evil.
Well, hold up. Well, first of all, see, that's the thing with me. I'm a Negro, so I got the Archangel Michael with me, and when I go in there, I go in prepared for battle. So I'm protected.
I know, but the courts are pure evil. Like I said, if they're draining your resources, the Archangel Michael isn't protecting you that much.
Well, hold up, but check this out, though. Yeah, I agree with you. Or whatnot. The thing is, I'm not telling you the whole thing.
I understand. Yeah, I don't want to know the whole thing. Yeah.
Listen. I got more stuff going on to where they're incriminating themselves, and just how Trump is doing with a lot of these people that I like about him too is he lets them back themselves in the corner and expose their hand. Then everybody's sitting and looking at them like, wow. Trump was right the whole time. You see what I'm saying?
All right, but just be wise, man. Just be wise. I appreciate it, Art. Thank you, man. Good luck to you.
Hey, yo, definitely I appreciate you too or whatnot to all the listeners and whatnot. And to you, y'all stay blessed and whatnot.
All right. Same to you. Take care, Art. And make sure, are you doing the silent prayer?
Hey man, I ain't just start knowing who God was. I've been so I might not pray to him all the time, but I ain't one of these type of dudes. When I get in a tough situation, I go and call on him. Me and him got a special relationship. He know how. I mean, you know what I mean. That's how I get a lot of the wisdom that I get. And it ain't from me, the flesh. He blesses me with the information. Long story short, you have a good evening.
I didn't hear a yes though.
Huh?
I didn't hear a yes.
I'm sorry. Oh no, I don't do the silent player. No, I was acting like a liberal real quick.
All right, Art. Check it out. Rebuildingtheman.com/church. If you scroll down, you'll see audio and video links to it. Do check it out because the Bible says pray without ceasing.
Yeah. You said
all
say
right.
it again. Say it again.
The Bible says to pray without ceasing.
Pray without ceasing.
Yeah.
God bless you.
All right, Art. Appreciate you, man. Good luck.
I received the message from you, sir.
All right, take care. What an interesting person. Paulie J gave a few diamonds. Thank you. And he said, Hydro PX said, blacks should watch Tom, as in Thomas Sowell, about low-income housing. Look it up, guys. Thomas Sowell, low-income housing. And Hydro PX gave a diamond and said, do you want blacks to thank you as a white? You don't have to thank me because I wasn't the one with the foresight to bring you guys here by way of slavery. I wasn't that strong of a man to do that. I wasn't born early enough. But you should love white people and be grateful to both the black ancestors and the white ancestors. But right now, they don't have appreciation. There's no gratefulness. So they're cursed. You know what? Hang on. You know, it's so disgraceful. Speaking of people, and then I will get to calls. Joe and Maze, my favorite caller, and the rest of you guys, hang tight. John Lewis had this memorial, and he's still having them. He's probably going to... I heard George Floyd had 6 funerals. Is that true? He had 6? I know he had at least 3, right? So John Lewis, I watched one on Saturday afternoon. I guess there was another one Sunday. And people singing and acting like he was a Christian and acting like he fought for justice. He didn't. He fought against justice. He was anti-truth. He was a really evil person. Really evil. I pointed out in Hake News today how he fought against school choice. School choice is vouchers, right? Vouchers, where black family or anybody, or not, maybe even a black non-family, like a female-led household, right? Single mother, can take this voucher since the taxpayers are paying for it. I don't know if she's paying taxes, right? But supposedly our taxes go to help fund for every child in America to get educated, even the illegals, which is ridiculous. And he fought against allowing the parents to choose which school they went to. They had to go to whichever public school whose district they lived in or could afford to live in, right? And many of these schools, like a monopoly, do not have to compete, and they do not have to perform correctly. They do not have to be good teachers. And government schools, as they're rightly called, are very corrupt. They're promoting total degeneracy. They're promoting this 1619 project and stuff like that. And, you know, some of them they're trying to push that stuff. But they already have the evil spirit of the false black victimhood being pushed like crazy. It wasn't even as bad when I was a kid, but it wasn't that good even when I was a kid. Think about how dumb I am when it comes to geography and history. I'm like, I don't have to learn that stuff. And I was a pretty good student. And I have pretty good retention of stuff that I hear. But it didn't stick. I was like, it's in the past. It doesn't matter. And geography, I was like, well, I mean, I learned that the continents may have come together or split apart, right? So I'm like, so what if it changes? Stuff is always changing. Why do I need to learn this history, this geography stuff? So I don't know Europe or anything. And so it's even worse today. People don't even know what the Independence Day is, you know? People don't, and they think that they believe in they think that they love America, but they love the stuff that they like the stuff that they can squeeze out of America, get out of America. And this John Lewis guy was an enemy by pushing false black victimhood, pushing abortion like crazy, like a madman, including partial birth abortion. He didn't want he wanted children, minors, to be able to be transported across state lines and transported to go get an abortion. What a sick person. And he called himself a Baptist Christian. What a fake. And they call him a hero for getting beat up. Allegedly, right? I don't even know what the real truth is. They call the riots today mostly peaceful. They're blatantly. And they do not care about what's right. The media who are talking about, oh, these are mostly peaceful protests. Like I told you at the beginning of the hour, last hour, I didn't know about Atlantic City, New Jersey, and Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Green Bay, Wisconsin, and all of these other cities that are getting rioted and destroyed and businesses going under. And you know what? The media, these journalists, some of them have this saying. It's something like lift up the oppressed and then oppress the people who are lifted up, right? Basically, is what they are for. They're for attacking the rich, attacking the whites, attacking the men, and taking up for the victims, right? That's what they believe. That's what a lot of these so-called journalists think is their commandment to go forth and be journalism for this stuff. Well, what about all these people that are so-called oppressed by way of these riots? These business owners, white business owners, colored business owners. And it's so ridiculous. You do hear a little bit of lip service from the media about, including like Fox News, about, oh, minority-owned businesses are getting destroyed. What about these white-owned businesses? There's white-owned businesses too. Is it more just to take out white-owned businesses? And these stupid black-owned businesses put a sign up, we're a black-owned business, don't destroy us. Only go destroy the white-owned businesses, as if they have anything to do with the police who are rightly killing you guys when you are acting out and getting yourselves killed. Thank you to have Nick get the phone for me for the subscriptions. That's cool. And Dark Side of the Bear What for gifting a subscription to him too. But it's so evil. You know that I heard 40% of the COVID deaths. I don't know if this is still the case, but this is what I heard. 40% of these COVID deaths have been in like nursing homes or old folks' homes. And they didn't have to be. They didn't have to expose these guys to COVID. That's the one place where you want to be extra careful and not expose anybody in there. It's crazy. They are, and they do not care. You know, it's so evil. The older folks are more likely to be sane with regard to politics and reality. They're more likely to vote for Trump. And you know what? These are in like New York City or New York, the state of New York, run by Andrew Cuomo, Democrat. These people are for assisted suicide. They believe in overpopulation. They push abortion like crazy, killing the babies in the womb, and in some cases out of the womb. Either way, it's evil. And so why would they care about businesses being destroyed? It's just an opportunity for Amazon to take over and swallow up all these small businesses that can't hang. And it's an opportunity for them to kill off old folk Trump supporters who vote sanely before they need to before they need to die, they're really evil people. I wouldn't put it past them to do this on purpose or to not care if they did it on accident. It doesn't matter. They're evil. Evil is both incompetent at doing right, and it is very competent at doing evil on purpose and by accident. It's crazy. So John Lewis is going to have a 6-day celebration of his life. What's to celebrate? I'm glad about some of these people are refusing to kneel. Trump wants players to stand. I heard he was going to throw a first pitch at the Yankees game, August 15th, but I heard that was canceled. So, let me just double check stuff. Okay, let me get to Joe out of Phoenix, Arizona. Joe, thank you for holding, man. Appreciate you. What's up?
Hey, James. You mentioned earlier that Trump got some pushback with saying that black people are in hell.
Yeah.
But in reality, the share of black men in poverty has fallen from 41% in 1960 to 18% today.
But poverty is not hell.
Sure it is. Poverty is hell.
No, it's not.
Sure it is.
No, it's not.
And the share
That's not what he's referring to.
Upper class
Hold on.
has risen from 38% to 57% today.
Yeah, but that's not hell. Even the rich black. Honestly, even the rich blacks are in hell.
Stop talking over the facts, James.
I know, but you're reciting irrelevant facts because the blacks are angry. Their communities are crime-ridden. Yes, it has gone down since the 90s, I guess. But and thank you to stop and frisk and 3 strikes laws and stuff like that.
You just didn't want to hear the positive facts about black people doing well now.
Well, no, I'm happy if blacks are actually doing well, but they're not. They're actually, that statement by him is so deep, it's probably deeper than he even really knows because they're more angry today and worse off today than they ever have been. You see this madness going on right now in the country, these riots, and I recognize that it's not just blacks rioting, right? But these blacks are, and it's on behalf of blacks, and it's all a pretense of false black victimhood. So yes, they are in hell today.
There's no facts to back you up, but the fact is that
The facts, you just look around. You don't need any facts to back you up.
Higher.
Huh?
Period. So they're not in hell.
Yeah, no, poverty is not hell, man. You're just so blind.
Poverty is hell. Only you would say that because you've never been in poverty.
You have never been in poverty. Nobody's in poverty today. Not in America.
Yeah, okay.
Think about...
For a year and then come back and say that.
Huh?
You be homeless for a year and then come back and say that.
Have you ever been homeless for a year?
Me, no. I'm saying, you're saying no.
People who are homeless, they did something to get that way.
I don't think. Talk to some veterans.
The veterans, yeah, I'm not for veterans being homeless, but they did something too to get that way. They were not, maybe they weren't raised with the strength of mind to handle life. They got on drugs or something. They couldn't handle the trauma or whatever.
PTSD is a real thing, buddy.
I know. They couldn't handle it. They were weak. And weakness.
If you think weakness is akin to PTSD, you're really clueless.
Well, I mean, psychology is really a fake science. Honestly, it is.
Psychology, it's a medical condition, James.
It's a fake science. It's a psychological condition, man.
And a few college.
So you're this pretense about. Okay, yeah, go for it.
A few college back, you had some idiots saying that there's no successful black-owned countries. Go to the United Nations Human Development Index. You have many countries in the top 10 and top 20 of that index. Egypt, Gabon, Libya, Botswana,
Does Egypt count as black?
Mauritius, Seychelles. So you have a lot of countries in Africa that are up and coming financially.
That's nice. Yeah, I don't know.
Technology-wise, so the caller's complete and total idiot, like a lot of your callers are. just stupid and uninformed.
You're exaggerating. Don't exaggerate.
James, I'm giving you facts as usual.
No, but you called him a complete and utter idiot when he just said something that may have been factually like, there's a few countries that are doing all right. Huh?
To push a stereotype, and that's stupidity, yes.
No, stereotypes happen for a reason, and there are a whole lot.
Stereotypes are the harbinger of the simple-minded.
But simplicity is good. It is useful. It helps people arrive at the truth. Because
it's not factual. It's not the truth.
I know, but look around. Look at how
Jesse lies almost constantly.
No, come on, that's silly. No, we're not getting into that. You're not going to smear Jesse on this show. So
I am smearing. It's not smear. It's facts again.
No, you're not. You're not facts.
Jesse lied
You're just
about the
blah 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 blah. We're not talking about Jesse, Joe.
He lied about the Dayton
Joe, I'm going to hang up on you if you keep on lying about Jesse. I'm just going to hang up on you because I'm not going to entertain your smears.
Like a chicken.
I'm going to hang up on you. But, I mean, in reality, like...
Stop running, James. Stop running.
In reality, getting back to the real point, blacks are suffering because of blacks.
Jesse lied.
What the... You got issues, man. Anyways, I appreciate hearing from you, man. It's good to hear from you.
James, why do you run from the back so much? Why?
I mean, the truth is more important than your facts.
Yes, facts and truth go hand in hand.
Right, but not always. Facts lead away from truth. People get into their facts. Yes, they do. Yeah, huh? Aren't you you're a Christian? Don't bring up Jesse. You're a Christian. You're a Christian, and you know in the Bible says knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. So what does puffed up mean? That means pride. That's not truth. When you have pride, you're led by a lie. And you have all this knowledge, but you're led by a lie.
Anything about pride. I'm just giving you facts, and
you don't know anything about pride? Okay. Well, anyways, hell is much more than poverty, and people can be in so-called poverty and not be in hell. So it's a state of
Trump
the spirit.
Didn't say any of that.
And
Trump was talking about poverty.
No, he was not talking about poverty. He was talking about the rot in the black community. He was telling the truth that the crime has gone unchecked. So-called poverty thing in itself, it doesn't have to be the case. But if you allow the crime to go out of control, of course poverty is going to increase, and that is a major problem in the country.
And so you're agreeing with me.
The crime. But I'm telling you, I mean, you're talking about. Anyways, you were talking about the 40s poverty. Didn't you mention the 40s?
I said the 60s compared to now.
Okay, the 60s. Even in the 60s, the crime was not as bad as it is today.
Talk about the gains from then to now. Don't distort what I'm saying.
I know, but those gains are. But my point is so much bigger than poverty is not. Hell, it's so ridiculous. I gotta run, Joe. Take care.
Yeah, running from the facts as usual.
I mean, I have to hang up with a phone. Jeez, what the heck? Greedy. Anyways, my favorite caller, Maze from Dayton, Ohio. How are you doing? It's good to hear from you.
I'm just marvelous, James.
Right on.
So, Justin from Alabama, the best thing he could do was educate his kids to history about black people owning and having things.
No.
And how it got destroyed.
Lies.
Look at Wilmington, North Carolina.
You're talking about that man. Hold on. You're talking about that young man who's distraught over his daughters growing up in an evil world in which whites are hated and blacks are false victims?
Sure. Whatever.
Education about what blacks have done or been through is not going to solve his problem, Maze. How shallow are you? That's shallow. Anyways.
I called to talk to you. He said that he didn't know no place in America, never, that black people owned and ran things. That's why I was sending him to listen, not listen to some history, to see some history. He can even travel to see the places.
Whatever. That's not going to help us. That's not going to help him, and that's not going to help blacks.
It will help him.
No, it won't.
Why won't it help him? To see the evil that other people did to people.
Because he's seeing the evil that you guys are supporting.
What?
He's seeing very nice
instead of getting angry.
Anniversary clock, by the way. It's almost time.
Clock. I told you that.
I know, but it reminds me of my parents' anniversary clock.
On the classroom, he must have hated history.
Huh?
He must have hated history to come on the air and say things like that.
No.
No place in America.
I mean, you guys
Did he miss
are
the history book?
No. Here, listen, Maze. The point is, look around at the world today and at the evil that is being committed on behalf of blacks.
That's just a talking point that you call.
No, it's not a talking point. They're trying to destroy the country. You're so blind.
That's the only thing
What
you
the
ever
heck?
do. But you don't never look at what y'all do to people. Not black
Whatever.
people. Other than black people. What are y'all doing?
That is so blind because
No, it's not
whites.
blind.
Yes, it is blind because.
No, it's not.
Hold on, Maze. I put you on hold. Whites are so self-policing. Like, we go. I say we. Well, sometimes me too. Whites have this. Oh no, don't do injustice against people. They do it like crazy. Whites are very just concerned with justice, and in some cases, the white liberals and the white rhinos are so ridiculous, falling all over themselves to people please the blacks, that's where whites go wrong, is the people pleasing nowadays. And every now and then you'll get that guy that shot up the church. And it's to everybody's detriment, too, by the way. This kissing up, that's evil. Anyways, last word, Maze.
As I was saying, James, you don't look at the wrong that y'all do. Y'all always trying to put on black people, which y'all doing history. We used to that.
Okay. If you're used to it, how come you say it all the time? If you're so used to it, how come you say it all the time?
What?
If you're so used to us not focusing on what we do, how come you can't get off of it? How come you can't get off that point?
It's just a talking point when you try to blame black people for everything.
Anyways.
You got a few pieces of black pepper sprinkled around. They're sick in the head. They don't know what's going on.
What? All right. Nice to hear from you, Maze. Very good points. I gotta go. Take care.
They beta. They don't know how to stand up on their own.
Oh, she said beta.
They need somebody to help their backbone because they don't have one. When you hear black people talking
you have a good day.
They don't have a black bone.
Have a good day.
You have a good day, too.
All right.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Blacks will come up with any hypothetical situation, says Hydro PX. Have Nick get the phone for me, says Nick has better hair. Get the phone. Whoa. Double insult. Hydro PX says, Maze, get back in the kitchen. Oh, I forgot to ask her about her husband. Thank you to have Nick get the phones for me. And Hydro PX and Army Ann, Dark Side of the Bear, what? Polly J, that's racist. Joe Maddock, based AF, America First. Ultra Snake and Shaggy Boy for the support. Appreciate you guys. And thank you to King Alpha Nerd for the faithful support and Social Pariah on streamlabs.com. I got to run, guys. It's been a fun little 2 hours. I forgot to really get into the teaching of the children of hate, teaching hatred to the children. But that is a major thing that blacks are doing. And now they're trying to push it on the whites. And it's, white mothers are, I don't know if they're real white mothers. Not Christians, I don't think. It's really evil. I'm going to tell you guys about it tomorrow. Just a little sum up of some of the instances, just so you're aware of it. Because I see it. I saw the signs on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And I almost glossed over it and didn't even cover it because I'm so used to seeing this teaching of hatred where the kids were holding signs that say F the police. And so I'm just going to show you or mention to you a few examples tomorrow on the show. Should the creek not rise? Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Take care. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. JesseLeePeterson.com for Jesse's stuff. Click on show. And you can play the audio stream live on his website, as well as mine for my website on the show page. Take care, guys.